Eastern Promises is directed by David Cronenberg, and it's about a Russian mob family that resides in London, where they find themselves in trouble when word gets out of a diary that's made its way to a middle class family. This midwife, played by Naomi Watts, stumbles upon the diary after a pregnant teenager collapses in a convenience store. How convenient. I've known David Cronenberg's work for only a short while. I've only seen two of his movies, one being this one, and the other being A History of Violence. What was impressive about this movie was how simplistic it feels. Now, the story is it's not like this over convoluted story. I like that it's very straightforward and it has substance to it, even though it's a very small scale type of movie. It's very dark and it's very gritty, and it feels like something Tarantino would have made back in the '90s. Back in his Reservoir Dog days. When everything when he was doing the indie kind of style thing. This is what this film kind of feels like. It feels like an art house indie type of film, which I like. I like that kind of stuff, especially when the story is so compelling and so engaging on this kind of small scale. I think it's really impressive to pull something off like this. Now, I think where it starts to show its grandiose is when they have these the set pieces in here for one are just astonishingly incredible. Because it's a crime film, so they have certain scenes in here where the camera is just kind of honing in on Viggo Mortensen's character, and it kind of has this Godfather feel. Such a small scale movie, but it still knows how to give you that crime atmosphere, if that makes sense. And it feels badass. Let's just talk about Viggo Mortensen's character for a second. Viggo was fantastic. I've always loved Viggo Mortensen, but I've always loved him from Lord of the Rings and that franchise. I mean, he was great in there, but this movie really kind of just shows his range. I'm really actually disappointed in myself that I haven't seen enough of Viggo's work since Lord of the Rings. I know he's done some stuff here and there, but I haven't necessarily got a chance to see it. But this man in this movie was just a gem to see. Having him dressed up in this mafioso type character with the accent and his hair slicked back, dude. If you was to ask me back in '03, if you can see this guy playing a mobster, I would have told you flat out no. Back then I was all into the whole Aragorn image. Nobody can see. I couldn't have seen somebody like Viggo Mortensen being this vicious badass that's just very calm and very, just very mellow. And this movie showed that he's just more than just a guy with a sword. You know what I'm saying? The movie also gives you this very authentic, very well thought out feel of the Russian mob. Because I don't know shit about the Russian mob. This movie kind of gives you a little bit of that. It gives you it kind of almost not like in an educational sense, but it does pay homage to like what's actually going on out there. And I love the tat scene so much where Viggo Mortensen's kind of just like sitting in a chair wearing nothing on but his drawers, and you see all the tattoos on his body, and all of the main bosses are kind of like just sitting there because I guess at this point he's being promoted at this point, or they're gonna like bring him in, closer to the family, and they start interrogating him about his tattoos, and by him kind of just saying, like I was born here, and I committed this crime there, and I went to jail this time. It was really just good to see that these tattoos weren't just something that he decided to get. Like this was some real life stuff, and the more he talked about his life, you know, the more you saw how valuable this piece of ink was. And it was also a smart way to kind of show some backstory on his character as well. It wasn't no really long exposition that was going on, but it was just them just talking about his tats. And he was saying, yeah, like I did this, I did that, and I'm not going to mention too much because I don't want to spoil it. But I thought it was a nice, smart, and concise way for them to pull that off. That was pretty impressive. That's my favorite scene, to be honest with you. Naomi Watts plays, the midwife, as I said, and she kills it. She kills it well. She's the one that you not as you watch the movie, you can see how Naomi Watts really I really can't say too much because the movie has more spoilers than I thought. But, you know, as the movie progresses, you can see why her character wants this diary to be uh held to some standard. You can see why she wants justice for this diary or she can see why she really wants this diary in the right hands because something is said in this movie that that is like the most perfect explanation for why she cares so much about this teenager collapsing in this diary that she has, and the baby that she's kind of caring for at this point. And I loved her chemistry with Viggo Mortensen as well. They both share a really good relationship on screen. I think they work really well with each other. There is a moment in there though where it kind of just threw me back a little bit. They have this kind of quick romance moment, and I don't know if I was really buying it all that much. I can see why it's in there, but I guess if I was making the movie, I would have took it out. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't totally bad. It was just that it just felt tacked on. It just felt like, oh, this is have them do this in there. I was just like, okay, but it happens at the very tail end of the movie, so it's forgivable. But now here's the thing about the actors, though. Now I don't know which of these actors had true Russian accents or just fake accents, but either way, I was buying all of it. I know Viggo Mortensen doesn't have a Russian accent, but it sounded as if this dude took a course or something. All those, all of those accents, I was just believing. I was actually just pretty floored at the fact that everybody was selling it. Everybody was selling it, and none of it felt slipped. Like I felt like we was talking to Russian people. I felt like these were Russian guys in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like it was really cool to see these people transform into these people. It's just nice. Now the father of Naomi Watts' character, let me just say, that's a guy you don't want at your Thanksgiving dinners. Okay, like I mean, I'm pretty sure when I get to that age, and I don't give a fuck about what I say to people. Man, I mean, the balls on that dude. He kind of sells it for the movie as like this comic relief person. And it works. It does work. I mean, you do get a kick out of things, but it's just some of the stuff that he says. Some of the stuff that he says is just so. It's like, why would you say that? Like you're laughing, but it's like an uncomfortable laugh. Like, why did you just say that? It's like, dang. And you feel bad for. I don't want to say too much, but uh, he worked for me. He worked for me. The action is a little bit more tame than I thought it would be. I know in the trailers they sold it as like this crime drama that was going to be extremely violent, and it is violent in some cases, but it's more tame than I would have expected. You see cuts of like some slashes, and there's like the bathhouse scene, the bathhouse scene, the bathhouse scene. Let me just say, if nothing else, if nothing else, you're gonna walk away appreciating that scene. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to. I want to hype it up. Just know that scene was incredible. Other than that, uh, there's really nothing to look forward as far as the action goes. Which is a tad disappointing. But I think if the story wasn't as good as it was, I probably would have hated this movie. Because a lot of crime movies tend to be a little bit violent and a little bit graphic. And there is violence in here. Don't get me wrong. There is violence. When they get to the violence, it is very brutal and it is very very vicious. But it's more controlled and I guess I just wasn't expecting it to be more of a drama. But the story is so good. Like just the characters are so good. Watching Viggo Mortensen in the suit and Naomi Watts interacting with him, it's just all so good. There's a lot of things going for this movie, and not to mention the direction, like the art pieces and the camera, the way it shoots the shots because it's set in London, and kind of just seeing all of the shots of London and it like it gives it this very grand feel, but it's also a very controlled, contained movie. You know, like it feels like an indie film. But I really did enjoy this movie. I really did enjoy this movie. So I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10. Yeah, it's, you know, I was pretty impressed with it. I love Viggo Mortensen. You know, his character was bad ass, man. Whew. So that's my review on Eastern Promises. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you like crime dramas, let me know in the comments what's your favorite crime drama. And with that, I'll see you on the next video.